I'm here today to show you how to make a wax paper backdrop. I'm going to be using one for our wedding, and I struggled a little bit to find on the internet exactly how to do this the quickest way, because it is a very tedious process. And so in case you don't know what it looks like, let me just go ahead and show you. This is pretty much what it's going to look like, and I'm super excited, so I just wanted to kind of share how to get this done, and how to get it done quickly, and the best way that I found how. So first, let me just tell you what you're going to need. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need crochet string number 10. You can get this at Michael's. You're going to need size 22 tapestry needles. You can also get these at Michael's. You're going to need ribbon. I've gone with a thin ribbon. You can go really any size or any width ribbon that you'd like. Just depends on the look that you're going for. Once you do tie the strands onto it, you're going to be tying them taut, so it is going to shrink down your ribbon in spots, and that's just to hold them, to keep them from moving. So you may want to take that into consideration. That's why I went with 5/8, so that it doesn't crinkle so much. But again, it's completely up to you. You're tying a slip knot at the top, so really you don't even need to use ribbon. You can put this on a rod, even a tree. You could put it on anything, a piece of wood, anything would work. You're also going to need, very important, is these counterfolded wax paper deli sheets. I have seen that some people say that you can use just rolled wax paper. You can, but it involves a lot more cutting, and it's a lot more time consuming. Also, the wax paper that you get in a roll is waxier. It's slicker, and it doesn't quite work the same. It doesn't give you that same translucent effect that the deli sheets do. So I definitely recommend getting these deli sheets. You can get this particular box I got at Costco. I actually got 2 of them, and I believe they were about $5 a box. So they're pretty inexpensive, and they're 500 sheets per box. And I needed about 750 sheets or so about a box and a half. So let's start. The first thing that you need to do is you kind of just want to prep yourself. That's the best way to do this that I've found. Cutting each size of string that you want one at a time, or cutting the rounds out and then stringing some. It's just all very time consuming. The more that you can get done and just have it all prepped, think of, like, you know, when you're cooking or something on a cooking show and everything's kind of pre-chopped, you want to have the same thing going here. You just want to have a little assembly line. So I take my deli sheets, and I take several at a time. I take 5 or 6 sheets. I cut open my box so that I can just easily grab from one side, and I just line them up together, and then I fold them in half. There's no perfect circle when it comes to this. This is just simply, you just need a circle. You don't need to draw it out or anything. You just need to eyeball it. So after making your square, you grab your scissors and you start making your circle. And there we go. now I have my circle. Well, kind of. After that, I make my half round. So now I have several rounds that are going to make a whole bunch of cups. I've kind of kept them all together, kind of facing the same way to keep them from crinkling. And then I have stored them in just a bag. As you can see, this is roughly a, well, yeah, it's roughly a box and a half of those deli sheets cut up into rounds. So I already have a few done, so it's maybe a little less. But pretty much that's what you want to do. You kind of want to keep them in line and not let them get mixed up. The next thing that you want to do is you want to cut your crochet string. Just depending on how much, what's the length of the curtain that you're making. Basically, I guess is what you would call it, is a curtain. But the length of it that you're going to make is how many strands you're going to need. But for all intent purposes, we're just going to go with what I'm using for our wedding. And so what I'm calling for is, it would be 10 yards or 30 feet. I'm leaving 24 feet of it is actually what's going to be strung. So it's actually going to have those paper cups strung down. And I'm leaving 3 feet on each side to tie around the tree or trees. So I take my string, I measure it at different lengths, and I cut, I need basically 100 of these. So however you want to do it, you can just eyeball it and then just pull out certain strings and cut a total of 100 in varying lengths, or you can measure them out. That's what I ended up doing because I knew how tall I needed it. So I picked 5 different heights of strands that I wanted, and I added half a foot or 6 inches to each length to allow me to tie it on to the ribbon and adjust it accordingly. So I just picked 5 different lengths and cut the strings out to those lengths. So now that I have it threaded in my needle and I have a knot, just a tiny little knot at the bottom of the string, I'm going to take my half round and I'm just going to make a cone shape. So very, very simple. That's basically it. Where the two ends meet, that's where you're going to want to put your stitch. You only need 1 stitch. You're going to start from the bottom of the cup and move your way up. You're going to put it in and push it out. So that's what it would look like. And then you just pull it through. This one's going to go all the way to the bottom until you get to that knot. The second one, and subsequently the rest of the cups that you put on your strand, are going to need to be placed at a certain, with a certain width in between each cup. And the way you figure that out so that it not only looks right, but it's easy to store, and I think that that's really important, is how you store it. Our wedding isn't until September, and we're in June, but I'm trying to get things done as quickly as possible because I want to have a nice, relaxing wedding and not stressing out at the very, very end. So what I'm doing is, here's my second cup that I just strung. Here's the first one that's at the very bottom. I have maybe 3 inches or so in between them. And I'm simply stacking them together. Now I have this loop right here. So I need to get rid of that. So I just pull up on the string until it's taut. And then I'm ready to go. Now I keep going. And I do it again and again until I get to the very top of the string. Again, leaving at the top, you want to leave about 6 inches or so. This is going to happen a lot. You see these like little twisties. It happens. It's kind of a pain, but you have to just kind of work with it. I just kind of loop my finger through, pull, adjust. Sometimes it curls. You just kind of mess with it, but then you get it. And you just keep going. And eventually, you're left with something like this. So this is fully strung, as you can see, and it stacks nicely, so I can put it away in a box and not have to worry about them getting damaged or crinkled or eaten by my cat. And here's the 6 inches that I was talking about. I left roughly 6 inches or so at the top so that I can tie a slip knot and put it through the string, or if you're going to put them on an iron rod or a piece of wood, whatever you're going to do with them, you can just easily make a slip knot and tie it through, or even just tie it onto something. It would be beautiful even to just have them hanging, you know, sporadically somewhere. So it's kind of up to you on what you want to do, how you want to do it. But leaving yourself a little room is going to be key. So that's pretty much it. Super, super easy and fun. Just throw on some Netflix and get to stringing. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you soon. Bye.